3 chiropractors in 3 different states with 3 different specialties all just hit record months in the month of May. And after some digging, I discovered they are all doing the same 5 things. One of them has generated $225,000 of new patient revenue from their ads in the past 19 weeks. Another one of them just had the best month ever in their practice. They're not the same kind of doctors, they're not in the same market, and none of them are doing anything weird or exotic. But when I looked at what they all had in common, the same 5 traits all emerged. And if you're not hitting the numbers you want to hit in your chiropractic practice right now, I can almost guarantee that 2 or 3 of these things are missing from your practice. So stick around because I'm about to jump in to all 5 of them. All right, so let's get started with number 1. And listen, this first one is going to sound incredibly self-serving and like I'm just promoting myself. And that's because, well, I totally am. The first trait is that every single one of these chiropractors has fired their agency and they have started to learn how to run their own ads successfully inside of AdCamp. They've learned the system for how to create offers and how to create scripts that convert and how to shoot their videos and run campaigns and optimize campaigns and scale. They've done this all without an agency. They're not wasting thousands of dollars every single month on an agency. And because of that, that means that they can pour more marketing dollars into ads that are actually converting. And that is one piece. And when I say one piece, it's just one piece of everything that I found that brought them to a place where they had a record month. And I'm telling you, if you are not hitting the revenue goals that you want to hit, you're not consistently hitting new records. One of the reasons probably is that you're wasting a lot of money on an agency if you're using one, or maybe you're not even doing any ads at all, which it's 2026. This isn't even an option anymore. And just to make some of this math make sense for you, I call it the crappy agency math. Let's say that you're spending $2,000 a month on an agency, and let's say that you can acquire a $2,000 patient, like $2,000 care plan for $500. That's incredibly realistic. That means every single month you are losing $8,000 worth of revenue or 4 new patients with the money that you're spending on the agency's retainer. Over an entire year, that's an extra $100,000, okay? So, and that's with only 4 new patients from ads, let alone, when you start getting to the 10, 15, 20. So the first characteristic is all of these chiropractors are learning how to run their own ads inside of AdCamp. The second characteristic that all of these chiropractors have in common is that they have tested, found, and are optimizing what I call their cash cow offer. There's a principle in life and in business called the Pareto principle. Okay. This means that it's also known as the 80-20 rule. And in business, what this really means is that 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of what you offer. Now, the thing is that most chiropractors, because of the way that they understand marketing and business, they haven't truly identified what their cash cow offer is. And what I mean by this is, what is the one thing that is driving 80+% of your revenue? And now, if you say, well, it's referrals. Referrals are driving 80% of our revenue. I'll just tell you up front, first of all, that's awesome. Way to go. That means you're really cool. That means you're good at connecting with people. You're good at closing people. You're good at building rapport and relationships, and you're getting a ton of referrals. The problem with that, though, is that referrals are not scalable. You cannot predictably scale a practice or any business based off referrals. So if 80%, if your 80-20 is due to referrals, I'm just going to tell you that's awesome. High five, way to go. So proud of you. But you have to identify some other lever or some other offer in your business to be able to crank on and be able to optimize and scale in order to hit record months. And these chiropractors, one of the things that all of them have in common is they have all found their unique little offer that they can put into the world, into the internet, into their city, and it can make them a ton of money and bring in a ton of new patients. And that brings me to number 3, which is actually they are all using what we call inside of AdCamp authority offers. One thing that you will realize if you hang around me long enough is that I absolutely despise $27 or $47 new patient specials. I think they are one of the worst things that have ever been created for marketing a chiropractic office. And the reason for that is because when you throw your price so dang low, all you're doing is attracting people that are searching for a discount, searching for a coupon, turns you into the coupon chiropractor. And ultimately, it's going to bring in a lot of tire kickers that are not willing to invest the money into their health long term to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And so what we've done and what we teach inside of AdCamp is how to create something called an authority offer. An authority offer does exactly what it says. It sets you up as the trusted authority that attracts higher quality patients who want to pay more, stay longer, and refer. As a matter of fact, every single month, we do an authority offer workshop. And if you want to learn more about that, all you have to do is go down into the description of this video, click the link to come over to my Instagram and message me the word offer, okay? When you do that, my robot Chappie is gonna send you a quick message with the details for the authority offer workshop that we have coming up this month. But at the end of the day, this authority offer is incredibly important because it positions you as an authority who demands more payment, who gets people better results, attracts higher quality patients who stay longer and actually refer patients. When you start using an authority offer, your next record month is right around the corner. And number 4 is actually one that I really, really love. And it is that they are all optimizing different sources of revenue. They're not too heavy with getting new patients from ads, and they're not too heavy with referrals, and they're not too heavy with what I call retention revenue. They have a really, really nice, beautiful, even spread across. Now, certain months, obviously, referrals are going to be higher than everything else, or retention revenue is really going to be what drove your practice's income that month. Or other months, you're going to have crazy results from your ads, and that's going to be the big lever that you made your income with. But all of these practices, one of the things that they have in common is that no source of revenue was crazy higher than any of the other ones, right? They sure, some were higher or some were a little lower, but they have a consistent pulling in of revenue from multiple sources. My guess is if you're not hitting record months the way that you want to, it's probably that you are so used to pulling in as much of your revenue, or heck, all of your revenue from maybe 1 or 2 different revenue drivers, and one of them is lagging way behind. If you learn how to get all of your different revenue lanes into this place where they're all bringing in great amount of revenue, you're going to be able to hit record months with so much more predictability because you don't have these certain months where like referrals are completely gone, or all of your retention revenue is the only revenue that you're getting, or when ads are doing really great, you're crushing it, but when they're doing terrible, you're like, how am I going to pay the bills? Whenever you rely too heavily on just one source, you're probably not going to consistently hit record months. And lastly, number 5, they are all tracking their data like crazy. Now listen, I know every chiropractor tracks data of some sort, right? Like what's my, profit per visit average? How many, visits a week am I at? How many visits a day? All these things. But inside of AdCamp, one of the things that they have learned are what are the actual data points that we can track that not only reveal to us where our business and our marketing is bottlenecked so that we can actually identify it and remove it, but what are the actual pieces of data that if we track them consistently will give us the best shot at scaling and growing our revenue consistently and reliably. When you get to a place where you are tracking the correct data consistently, and then you're making data-driven decisions for your marketing and your practice, you become very, very dangerous because at that point, you're not doing what most chiropractors do, and that is they make decisions about their practice based on what their successful friends seem to be doing, and that's very dangerous. Or They make emotional-based decisions out of fear, out of scarcity, or heck, even sometimes you make a decision purely out of excitement. And you got so amped up about this decision, you talked yourself into it, and you thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But again, because it wasn't a data-driven decision and an emotionally led decision, at the end of the day, you crashed and burned because you made an emotional decision. And I'll just say this, if you're a chiropractor and you do not want to start to learn how to track the appropriate data consistently, I just would like to invite you into the Poor Chiropractors Club. And here's the reason why. You are running a business, and that business, it gets oxygen from revenue. Business and money, or business and revenue, it speaks the language of data and numbers. And I don't care if you think you're not a numbers person or you're not a data person. If you do not learn how to track your data and make data-driven decisions, you're totally screwed. Those are the 5 different characteristics that I noticed in all 3 of these chiropractors that all hit record months in the month of May. So if you would like to start to get from $30,000 or $40,000 a month to 50, 60, 70, 80 and beyond, like these chiropractors, I want you to go ahead and come down to the description of this video and go ahead and click the link to come over to my Instagram. And what I want you to do is I want you to come over and I want you to message me the word camp. Okay. When you do, my robot Chappie is going to ask you some questions to see if you would be a good fit for ad camp, if you're interested in that. Okay. If maybe these 5 things, maybe you thought you're like, oh my gosh, 1 or 2 of these things I totally need to focus on, go back and implement that in your practice. And I really hope for the best for you. Otherwise, one of the things that you're going to have to learn, because it is freaking 2026, and from here forward, the chiropractors that are still trying to rent their growth by hiring an agency and wasting tens of thousands of dollars, they're really going to get their butts kicked by chiropractors who are learning how to do it themselves. Because when you learn how to do your own ads and your own marketing, you can move faster, you make better decisions, and at the end of the day, no agency owner is going to care about your growth as much as you do. So that's why we teach chiropractors how to do exactly that inside of ad camp. So go ahead, come on over to my Instagram, send me the word camp, and we'll have a quick conversation to see if you'd be a good fit. All right? Other than that, I'll see you next time, my friends.